Alright, guys, sorry, I think I was muted on that, but what's going on in LA with all these riots and all these protests and all these things that are happening, you guys, right now as we speak. All these things are happening for a reason. It's a Trojan horse plan, you guys. It's a trap. All they need to do is to get the people riled up to a point where the Americans are fed up with these people protesting with these Mexican flags and all these things that are happening. And all it takes is one stupid little conflict, bro. Just one little conflict that involves even a firearm. Hell's gonna break loose, you guys. Hell's gonna break loose. I'm gonna right now. I'm gonna look up something right now for you guys. Hold up. This is one thing that you guys need to understand. What is the definition of a civil war? What is the definition? Well, I got this in their government, website here. So the definition of civil war, you guys. The definition of a civil war: a violent conflict between a state and one or more organized non-state actors in the state's territory. Civil wars are thus distinguished from interstate conflicts in which states fight other states. Violent conflicts or riots not involving states, sometimes labeled communal conflicts, and the state I can't even read right now, you guys. Repression and state repression against individuals who cannot be considered an organized or cohesive group, including genocides or similar violence by non-state actors such as terrorism or violent crime. All right. So all these things that are going to play out right now, with the cars being set on fire, police officers being attacked, rocks being thrown at, all these things are leading to this very slowly but surely. They want these things to happen, you guys. They want them to happen. In New York, it's happening, but in LA, I think it's just progressively getting worse. But we need to understand these things. That my Mexican brothers out there, I don't know I know we're all just mad about these laws and what ICE is doing and whatever, but putting fuel in the fire is not going to make a difference when we're trying to distinguish the fire from water. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to put out the fire. But if we keep feeding this fire, it's going to grow to the point where it's going to become a war. It's going to become something that's already conflict, and it seems like that's what they're seeking for. The folks in California need to understand that with this whole system that's being played out in front of us is just a giant Trojan horse ready to be popped off at any moment in any moment in time. This is all going to what they're saying over here to June 14. Like, I don't know if you guys ever heard of that No Kings June 14 to mobilize, you guys. It says right here that they are people on principle and honor. We honor our commitments and stand by our allies. We defend against aggression by dictators. We uphold and defend the Constitution. We care for veterans and children. We respect our neighbors and trading partners. We support a healthy national and international economy, community, and environment. We are world leader, trusted, and uphold the stability of rule of law. All right. So all these things are going to start happening. All these protests are going to start spreading everywhere, you guys, everywhere. So be ready. This is going to pop off really bad. Some people are going to take it the wrong way, and they're going to insist on conflict, you guys. And when it comes to these conflicts, you guys, when people are rocking the Mexican flag in this American country, the United States of America, and they're burning American flags, it doesn't seem like this outcome's going to come to our best of interest, you guys. We are going to be in the middle of a shit show. So we have to prepare ourselves when it comes to these things, because other people are going to incite chaos, and these people want it now. More than ever, especially now that Mr. President Trump is in office now. My fellow Mexicans and all these people who are not are illegal immigrants, for example, those people are going to be the ones that are incite more violence and hurt other individuals more than American citizens will. But I know there's some dumb individuals out there that are going to be willing to incite violence just so they can promote their agenda. But you guys need to understand this, that, like I said, it's a Trojan horse. It's all a trap. It's all to incite us to start a civil war against Americans and against the immigrants that are in this country. But the reason why there's a giant war against it is because they always insist of saying, oh, well, it's illegal. They're illegals. They shouldn't be here in the first place. That is the truth. That is the definition of the truth. But if a large population and group of individuals think that it is morally wrong to do so, then there's going to be a problem, because one side of the territory is saying, no, you cannot deport them, and the other side is saying, yeah, you can deport them. Well, this is going to come to a giant conflict, you guys. It's going to be a giant shit show, and we're just waiting for it to pop off. There are many states in this whole country that are liberal and are left leaning that are willing to pop this off because they want it to happen. They don't like President Trump being president, of course, but it's all a whole charade of actions that need to take place in order to run its course. You guys need to be prepared for these situations, you guys. You know, a lot of truth seekers and a lot of us warn other people to be prepared, especially when these times are coming. They want to like put up a new 2.0, you know, the whole virus stuff that's happening, you know, and they want to get individuals sick. Now this whole rumor of depopulation when it comes to biological weapons, they're talking about it. They're talking about that something might pop off on the 4th of July. But now with these riots and all these things that are happening, you know, who knows what's going to happen with the future coming, you guys. So we got to be prepared for ourselves when it comes to these political situations, because it's all political violence. It's all a giant stage, you guys. It's to incite us. It's to make us riled up to we can become violent and act instead of thinking. You know, it's all based on emotions, and these people are emotionally riled up because, you know, for example, my family members, you know, they were illegal immigrants, but, you know, I'm not going to worry about it too much anymore because, you know, rest in peace, my mom's, you know, in a better place now. And that's what I care about, is the fact that I know these people are trying to do something and change certain situations of our laws, because I personally don't like certain laws and I want to change them. But that doesn't mean burning down someone's car or burning down someone's business is going to change anything, you guys. It's just going to make things worse. It's going to, right now, my fellow Mexicans, you guys are getting a very bad image for yourselves, especially those who are rocking Mexican flags and burning shit down. You guys are going to be the ones putting a bad name for our people, because I grew up around Central Valley, California. So you guys, I grew up around all these Mexicans, you know. There's certain names we call them one another, you know, but besides that situation, you know, I grew up with most of these folks and they're not really political. They can care less what politics are doing. So these younger folk who are out there, you know, protesting, causing violence and havoc, these are the generation that are involved with their phones. They're the ones that are getting brainwashed with the news and with the media. They're the ones that are paying attention more than to the parents that are working in the fields out there in Central Valley, Fresno, California. You know, the people who are just, you know, trying to work in the fields for a living so they can send money to their folks back in Mexico. You know, those illegal immigrants who don't do anything. But at the same time, you know, this whole governmental system that has been created by this whole corporation of this giant entity of wealthy individuals who want to govern us and say who can and cannot come to this country. Yet then they don't want to give the legality of these people who came to this country illegally their papers. They don't want to give them their immigration status. They don't want to make them American citizens, because once they legally put them in the system, they become American citizens. They are no longer part of a different country system. So that makes it more harder for them to be tracked when they do not put themselves into this governmental system, which is aka the United States of America, when they want to have the citizenship or not. But because these government entities don't want to do this, it makes it a lot harder for us to subside on who is an illegal immigrant and who's not. But at the same time, what's the difference between a person and a person? There's no difference between one another. You know what I'm saying? So if this whole governmental entity system is based on legality, on who is and who is not here illegally, why not document all people that are illegal and make them American citizens? Well, if that happens, the American people, they will win, and that's what they don't want. They don't want this. This is all a strategy. It's all a military entity that is pushing this agenda for us to be enslaved by this government entity, because without having that illegal status of immigration in this country, we cannot enslave other people from different countries. It's just the way this whole governmental system works. These government entities are disgusting. They're evil and they're horrific on the politics and the policies that they place, because they feel like, oh, you're an illegal immigrant, you have nowhere to go. Okay, I'll give you a job, but I'm gonna enslave you and I'm gonna make you a slave and labor you till you can't work anymore, to the point, because if you say anything, you can't say anything, because if I say that there's an illegal immigrant here, and then you get basically deported to wherever they came from. And these giant corporations and these big old corporate people, because I've seen it for myself, you guys. I worked in the fields in California when I was 18, when I was barely, growing up, trying to provide for myself and my family, you know what I'm saying? And I worked around these illegal immigrants, and these people are just there to work. But let me tell you guys something. They have no other choice, because they cannot get their immigration status to become legal citizens because they crossed over illegal. So that makes their life a lot harder. But guess what? It makes American lives a lot easier, because that American corporate slop can enslave that person just because of his status, just because he is considered a criminal, has to work under the table and get paid, or work under a different name. You understand what I'm saying? This is all a giant facade. So who is getting angry at this situation? Who is winning through this involvement? Because if we made all these illegal immigrants legal citizens of the United States of America, the American corporations who run all these businesses when it comes to the fruits and labors on the people who have to grow all our crops, they're going to lose out on a lot of people, because they're going to get their citizenship. So now they don't have to do those slavery jobs. Now they can go work at McDonald's. Now they can go work at and put their application anywhere else, because they have their citizenship. You guys have to understand these things. These are all enrollments playing a part in this situational beast system that the government has created. This a false American dream. Me, as a person who has grown up around just Hispanic people, Mexicans, I cannot say I'm a proud Mexican, but I could say that I am proud that I grew up in that situation, because it made me realize how bad this whole American government system is. It's freaking garbage. It's corrupted. But when it comes to these solutions, you can't push them. You cannot tell the government, hey, make all these people legal citizens. If Trump were just to be like, all right, I'm going to put a whole executive order saying all these illegal immigrants that are in the United States already, they're legal American citizens. You can go get your immigration status. Go get your green card. You're officially an American citizen. So if someone's drunk driving that doesn't have their immigration status crashes into someone and gets killed, they have to go to jail forever because they're not going to get sent back to the country where they came from. No, because they're legally an American citizen. Do you see how that works? Do you see how more people will be persecuted, more justification when it comes to the situations that we're living in right now? See, but a lot of people, they don't see it like that. Oh, you're illegal immigrants, we have to deport you. You know, it'll cost more money deporting all these people and than making them legal citizens of the United States. Think about it. Think about that situation. Oh my gosh, it is just crazy. It is just crazy because these government entities don't want that to happen, you guys. They need the slaves. They need the Egyptian slaves. They need to be enslaved, you guys. They have to. And talking to these Mexicans that I was working in the fields with in California, dude, they have no other situation. They have no other means of making money besides staying there or out selling drugs or trafficking. You know what I'm saying? They have no other means of making money because they left their country and they came over here illegally because our country didn't give them that chance to do so, because in their country their system on the way of becoming a citizen here is totally, it's messed up, you guys. It's messed up, and sometimes it's impossible. You know what I'm saying? I had a family member that she was an illegal immigrant her whole entire life. She barely got her statuses, like, I don't know, 2 years ago, you guys. And like, dude, that's insane. That's insane. And this lady was a hard-working lady. She just works, like I said, she works in the fields. She enslaved herself all her life, working in that environment, in those warehouses, in these hard general labor situations where these women, you know, they have hard times doing so. And on top of that, being single mothers in general, because I didn't grow up with a father that much around the household. You know, I saw him here and there, and I hung out with them here and there, but you know, besides that, my mom was taking care of me. You know, and she was an illegal immigrant. You know, she was Hispanic. She grew up, you know at points in my life, I didn't realize, oh, how does she make money for the rent? How does she do that? Well, she fed these slaves. She fed these slaves, you guys. My mom, an illegal immigrant, fed other illegal immigrants that were slaves. They paid her to make them food. You know what I'm saying? So every morning, my mom would get up at 3 in the morning for these illegal immigrants, because she was an illegal immigrant herself. She'll wake up at 3 in the morning, cook authentic homemade food for these gentlemen, and make sure that they have lunch in the field, so when it's lunchtime in the field, they have something to eat and drink. That's what was my mom's job, and that was her purpose when it came to us surviving, you guys. You know what I'm saying? And my mom, what was she doing? She wasn't selling crack in the corner. She wasn't hustling. She wasn't being a prostitute. She wasn't doing any of these things. She was feeding these illegal immigrants that were here illegally to enslave themselves for the American corporations, the same corporations that incite this violence upon us. It's all a trap, you guys. There is a bigger way, a more knowledgeable way to progress the situation and make it less violent and make it more success for all of us. But that's not what the government wants. They want order out of chaos. This is all a giant Trojan horse, you guys. I'm on the roll right now. I'm on fire. I'm telling you, my wife is telling me, just go make this video. And I'm like, I gots to. People got to hear this. They got to hear the message. I know a lot of people don't want to hear about the Bible and the Lord. But the times we're living in, a lot of people need to seek Jesus, because, dang, who knows how many more people are going to get hurt because of all this violence. All because of these bad governmental policies. You know, like, dude, I'm just a American Mexican gunslinger. Like I said, you know, I'm just somebody who just build a channel just for fun, and it's growing to something that I never thought it was. I just bought a new mic. If I sound loud and clear, what's up? What's up? But other than that, you guys, this is what's happening right now. You know what I mean? This is what's happening right now, and it's just insane. The things that are happening in LA, and I got family members in California. Right now, I'm in Missouri. So I'm pretty far away from the situation, you know what I'm saying? But it's gonna grow. It's gonna grow. Kansas City is Democrat. And guess what? When I go in downtown Kansas City, I see a lot of those Mexican folk out there with their trucks rocking their Mexican flags. You know, it doesn't bother me, you know what I'm saying? You got freedom of speech. This is America, you know, do what you please. But when you're rocking a different flag and causing chaos and burning the American flag, you're just inciting for war, you guys. They're just looking for it. I'm telling you, it's a Trojan horse coming in disguise, you guys. And it's so hard right now. Oh yeah, talking about protests here in Kansas City. I got this right now. A few minutes ago, 10.5 miles away from me, there's a whole protest happening right now in Kansas City, right now, you guys. It's going to spread like wildfire. I didn't even know about that. My wife just showed me that it's happening right now as we speak, you guys. It's going live. It's going live. Let me show you guys. I don't know if you guys can see the screen right now. It's going live. The protest is going live. Like that's crazy, you guys. It's growing. It's going to grow to all these giant cities. Salt Lake City, Utah. It's going to grow to Austin, Texas. It's going to grow to all these other places, you guys. I'm telling you, it's going to grow. This is scary. It's scary because it's inciting for civil war. When there's illegal immigrants breaking into your door for protesting, trying to tell you something, trying to break into your house, and you have no means of defending yourself, you have your AR right there ready to go. Ready to be like, yo, they're gonna break down the door. You know, I'm gonna put 3 in them. You put 3 in that door. Guess what? You already incited civil war. You already signed the signature for war. So what does the other group do? Oh, retaliation. Now they're gonna get their buddies and they're gonna get their tools and it's gonna be a freaking mess, you guys. So when all hell breaks loose, when we cannot rely on these government entities for our safety because these people are mad, all because they're getting deported because they're not even supposed to be here in the first place. But that itself hurts me because this freaking Trump, which I have a lot against him right now, is the fact that this man, he knew all this was going to take place. It was a Trojan horse from the beginning of the start. The Democrats let all the people get flooded in, flying them by the thousands over with planes, cars, giving them visas, all this money, all this stuff. And then when Trump becomes president, he's going to have to deal with the garbage. All right, so now now when Trump has his policies and all these American people, all these immigrants are going to blame the American people who voted for Trump, because I did not vote for Mr. Trump, because he even said himself he's not a Christian. So if you think he's a Christian, you're totally fooling himself. But other than that, you guys, now that Trump is in charge of all this shit, he has to deal with all the chaos. It's again 2.0 again. The same thing happened when Hokuf happened. Tell me it didn't happen. The same thing is happening again. 2.0. Except it's with this immigration status stuff. Because my folk down in Central Valley, California, my family members there, I talked to my sister over there. You know, I don't want to get her involved in my situation, but I talked to her and I'm like, hey, what's going on with people with the whole ICE situation? How are they dealing with that, you know? Dude, that the flea markets were not even packed anymore. The flea markets were crickets, you guys. Literally crickets. I'm sorry, but no one was selling at the flea markets anymore because everyone was at home hiding. They were scared of ICE. I'm just like, what? Yeah, she's like, yeah, they're all scared. They're all in hiding. but they didn't see no ICE, no ICE agents around there, no immigration cops are out there. So it's like everyone's just literally in fear mongering mode right now, you guys. Especially those illegal immigrants, who are not violent. You know what I'm saying? But they shouldn't even be illegal. They should be legally here. You know, they should have their immigration status. They should have their green cards. But the government doesn't want to issue them. So how are we going to come to a conclusion into an actual solution to solve this crisis? Okay, if we have illegal immigrants flooding in this country, let's all give them their immigration status. Let's all make them American citizens. Isn't that what Americans want? They don't want illegal immigrants, but they want American citizens, correct? Let's make them American citizens. But why doesn't the government come up with that solution? Mr. Trump, why doesn't he come up with that solution? Because it'll solve so many problems. But they're not trying to solve the problem. They're trying to feed the problem. You know what I'm saying? So they're like, okay, we're gonna separate all these families and all these people away, you know, and make them and label them illegal immigrants, because they're trying to come with these different, you know, definitions like immigration, immigrant, illegal, and all these things. But it's like, come on, man. If you, the government, have the mindset of saying these people are illegal, can't you be like, write a law and make them legal? You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't justify their system, because they need enslaves. They need these people to be illegal immigrants. That's how they run their systems within the underground tunnels of this country. You know what I'm saying? When I go outside into my house or my apartment complex, and I go outside, who's mowing the grass on the apartment complex? Ain't no American, bro. It's someone that came from a different country, and hopefully they have their immigration status. You know what I'm saying? But it's usually Hispanics or people that are from a different culture. You know what I'm saying? It's never someone who is a white-blooded American doing these hardcore jobs that these illegal immigrants are doing. You know what I'm saying? Including construction work. Majority of these construction workers in California are Hispanic. They're Mexicans. And some of them they can't get the whole situation of working with the construction because they're illegal immigrants. So the only way they can do it is by working on someone else's name. You know what I'm saying? Or breaking the law. Basically making these people, you're literally forcing thousands of people who are not here to break the law to break the law. That's how the government works, to make as many of us criminals as possible. You know, me personally, growing up in California, you guys, I seen this deception from the beginning, from when it started. You know, that's why I left California. I ended up moving to Oregon. You know, and Oregon is highly liberal, you guys, highly liberal too. And there was very few Hispanic folk that I knew there. But like, when you go to these sanctuary states where these illegal immigrants are sanctioned from all that, it gets a little dangerous. I'm not gonna lie, it gets a little dangerous, because some of these people, they want to be criminals because that's what they're good at. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to seek a 9 to 5 like an average American does. They just don't. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they want to make money. They rather rob you. They rather, you know, all these people that are looting, you know, these high-end stores. They do it because these high-end stores, they rip them off in the first place. You know, so a lot of these situational things that are happening with these riots and these looters, these corporations are involved with it. You know what I'm saying? They're involved with it because all these looters and all these things, the store's like, now this store's getting robbed and we have 10 looters robbing the Louis Vuitton store. Wait, you think that the poor average American citizen cares if Louis Vuitton gets robbed? No, we don't care about these giant corporations. But when the mom and pop store, the generational store that was there for 20 years gets burnt down, and because the mom and pop don't have the money to pay the insurance companies in order for them to restore their place, now that's when it becomes a freaking problem. Because these giant corporations like Louis Vuitton, Walmart, they have the money and the capability to pay all these damages. But the mom and pop, they don't have crap. They have to earn a living. You know what I'm saying? They don't just get their stuff drop ship from China. It just doesn't work like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just crazy. It's all a giant Trojan horse, you guys. It's all set up for the New World Order. And we're all going to be part of that club. Believe me. Believe me. When it comes to the government making ourselves, go against one another, they're so good at those tactics, you guys. It's so obvious that a lot of these American people, we're tired of it, bro. We're exhausted. We're tired, bro. There's gonna be that American who is nothing to lose, bro, and he's gonna go out there and do something he's gonna regret. That's why I want you guys to be vigilant, be sober, be prudent, be aware of these things that are happening. Have the discernment to understand these situations that are happening and around our world, because it's gonna come to a city near you. Like I said, I'm here in California. They're protesting in LA, and now they're starting to protest up in the Central Valley, where Fresno's at. They're starting to protest there. It's gonna start spreading, and now it's spreading here in Kansas City. And now they're protesting right here, right now. From Missouri, from California, we're 2 hours apart, you guys. We're 2 hours apart. But at the same time, when all these things that are happening, we can see these things happening live. We tell each other information. We show each other information. We display ourselves information so we can acknowledge ourselves and be like, wow, these things are actually happening. So what can we do to solve them? You know what I'm saying? If the government is part of the giant problem and is feeding this puppy that's gonna grow up to be a giant killer dog that's gonna be ravenous and literally destroy its own owner, you know what I'm saying? If that's their goal and that's their plan, how is it for us to stop it? The only thing we can do is to warn one another with this knowledge, to share one another. Dude, like, be careful. It's all a trap. It's all a trap. Why do they want a civil war? Why do they want it? Because they profit off of it, you guys. Right now, at this moment in time, ammo is the cheapest as ever been. You can go stockpile a 9mm like no problem. Like, it's no biggie. You can go buy some firearms for cheap nowadays because Trump's president now. Supposedly he's making everything better. But I'm telling you guys, it's all a Trojan horse. Don't fall for it. Be prepared for the worst situations, but don't fall for the bullcrap, you guys. Don't fall for it. Because once you fall for it, and once you start rioting out there, and once you get involved in this situation, you're going to be part of the problem, bro. No one's part in the solution. No, all these protesters, bro, none of them want to academically solve the problem. They rather use violence. They rather use fearing tactics in order to get what they want. They've been the same way the Liberal Party has been doing for years is the same thing they're doing. Just BLM. No, except it's because immigrants. Just because we're Hispanics. Just because we come from a different country and we're not supposed to be here legally. Like, come on, bro. Like, they're literally protesting something that's already illegal, but they don't want to work on it to make them legal. You see what you guys need to understand these things. If you guys don't see the bigger picture, I don't know what to tell you. I'm only here with the man with the camera with the mic. I just got a new mic, by the way. I don't know if you guys can hear me loud and clear, but yeah, you guys, I'm telling you, this is not gonna end well. And people are falling for it. My fellow Mexicans, my pobre mexicanos. ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? Es puro pedo con estos pinches gobiernos americanos. No los quieren. Los gobiernos de este sistema grande los odian la gente, los otros. La gente de Jesucristo no los quiere. El gobierno los quiere muertos, los todos. ¿Entienden? This government wants us all dead. They don't like us. This government's evil. They're garbage. The people have to we have to rely on ourselves and each other in order to understand why are they doing it? Why? Once we tell each other why, and we tell each other all this information, and we spread it to one another, and we seek it, why? It all makes sense in the end. It all makes sense. They want their new world order. They want it. They want it one way. Either they do it biologically, naturally, or by psychosis, or by inciting violence to one another. MK Ultra at its max. And guess what, baby? These are the MK Ultra tickets right here. We got them. We got them. Now look at how many dumb young people are burning LA now. They're burning their own homes, their own backyards. For what? Because of an illegal immigrant? Oh, but how come you can't make these illegal immigrants legal? Why can't you just give them their papers and make them American citizens? Why can't the government do that? Because the government is not in your best interest, you guys. The government is never in your best interest. They never are and they never will. It's always for them. Why do you think these government officials who are in office, like Nancy Pelosi is supposed to be worth $200,000 and her salary is worth millions of dollars? How come that plays out? How come all these things play out? How come we don't throw around these questions no more? Because you guys, it's all a giant freaking world stage. It's all fake. It's all fake. It's all fake. Tell, lie, vision. That's what television's do. You tell a lie and you vision it. And you tell it so continuously broadful to the point where it gets attached into our frontal lobe, our brains, and we roll with it. And we believe it's the truth. When in reality, it's far from the truth, you guys. It's far from the truth. And a lot of people are going to believe that false narrative. They're going to be deceived by the lie. They're going to believe a lie. And that's what's happening right now, you guys. If there was no riots, no insurrection, and all of us and every single one of us just protested it, being like, make all illegals legal, make all illegals legal, and they all become legal immigrants, they all become American citizens. Okay, there's no conflict in that. You get what I'm saying, guys? There is no conflict in that. So if there is no conflict in that, that means there is no criminals. You know what I'm saying? Because they're already defining who is a criminal because they're illegal immigrants. They're defining them as what? Criminals. You know, the criminals are going to be here either way. It doesn't freaking matter. They're going to be here either way. They're going to commit crimes and everything, but yet then they're going to get slapped in the wrist for the crimes that they do, because that's how bad our justice system has become. It's become garbage. The same justice system, the same governmental system that wants to deport all these illegal immigrants are the same ones that could make all these illegal immigrants legal to convert them to American citizens. But these people, they don't want that. The government, that they don't want that. They don't want that. Oh, they only want to get the best. We only want the best. No, all that bullshit is all bullshit. Because, you know, they don't want the... If we would be getting the best, this country wouldn't be the shit it is right now. Sorry about my cussing, but it's just the way it is. It wouldn't be like this, you guys. If you believe in Donald Trump You're fooling yourself. When has any politician said, I'm here for you? Believe me, I'm here to rescue you. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. And guess what? The government then puts a chain around your neck and then throws you into a pit and makes you hang there until you suffocate and perish away. That's the government for you, you guys. So remember, the things that are happening today, they're going to continue to grow, and I've been telling you guys. And a lot of truth seekers have been telling you that. Pray to Jesus Christ. Read your Bible. I'm telling you guys, these things are going to come to pass. Whether you believe it in the Holy Spirit, whether you believe in Jesus, whether you believe in God, whether you believe in whatever God you believe in, these things are just going to happen, and they're going to grow and become worse. We have to prepare ourselves and share the knowledge and spread the gospel to one another, because I'm telling you guys, putting fire inside gasoline, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm saying the opposite now. You know what I'm saying? You have a torch and there's a big old barrel of gasoline. That's basically what they're going to do. So what happens when you put a torch into a barrel of gasoline? You blow the heck up. That's what happens, you guys. That's literally what's happening right now as we speak. And it's slowly, the torch is slowly moving. Miss Liberty, which is, the Statue of Liberty is just Satan, is holding that torch. The light barrier, which is who? Satan, is going towards the gasoline slowly to see if these stupid Americans will fall for the trap. Let's see how stupid these Americans are. Let's see how stupid they are. Let's see how they fall for the trap. Because if we don't fall for the trap, if the Americans don't fall for the trap and they let all these people cause all this destruction, the government's gonna be the one to pay for it. So because someone's gonna have to clean that shit up. They have to. Someone's gonna have to clean it up. Unless this is the final time where the government's like, I'm not cleaning up this time. You fend for yourselves, and guess what? Those people are gonna be like, Pikachu face. What? I live in here now? Because they destroyed their own home. You get what I'm saying? So just be careful, you guys out there. Thank you guys for watching, guys. I'm American Mexican Gunslinger. I'm going live. I'm trying to do these live channels right now. I couldn't read the comments. Sorry, you guys, because, my camera's in my way. What's up, C? Yep. Man. Oh, no puedo leer tan mucho español, pero lo explico y lo entiendo. But, yeah, you guys. So, mis hermanos, hermanas, mis mexicanos, por favor, entiende que no van a hacer restricción allá arriba en California, en estos estados, porque violencia nomás va a ser más peor todo. Y con los marinos que van a ir en California y oh man, la pelea va a ser más fea. So entiéndeme, todas mis personas, por favor, lee la Biblia y pon tu fe en Jesucristo. Gracias. Yo soy American Mexican Gunslinger. Thank you guys for watching. Put your faith in Jesus Christ. Stay strong out there, my fellow Americans and my fellow Hispanic brothers, because this is all a Trojan horse, you guys. We're neighbors. We're supposed to love our neighbors, guys. We're supposed to love one another. We're neighbors. My Mexican brothers, mis hermanos, mis hermanas, somos hermanos, somos neighbors. ¿Por qué vamos a estar peleando contra uno? Este pinche gobierno es el problema, no son nosotros. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys around. Peace.